Today marks the 60-year anniversary of a hydrogen bomb test in the Pacific Ocean. The U.S. carried out the test in 1954 on Bikini Atoll. 23 crew members of the Japanese fishing boat No.5 Fukuryu-maru from Shizuoka Prefecture were exposed to radiation. One of them died 6 months later. Some of the former crew members are working to pass down their experiences to future generations. The Bikini Atoll is part of the Marshall Islands. A memorial ceremony was held there today. One of the purposes of the event was to appeal for the abolition of nuclear weapons. "60 years later, many of the islanders who were present at the time of the test are suffering from radiation-linked ailments such as thyroid abnormalities." Addressing the ceremony, the president of the Marshall Islands said many areas are still contaminated. The No.5 Fukuryu-maru is on public display in Tokyo. The vessel was decommissioned after its deadly voyage, but was later put on display amid growing calls to preserve it. This woman says she came to see the boat knowing today was the 60th anniversary. She says the ship and its crew were forced into a terrible experience just because they happened to be near the test site. She says she's just horrified. Masaho Ikeda is 81 years old. He was an engineer on the No.5 Fukuryu-maru. He was hit by the fallout. After being discharged from a hospital back in Japan, he faced discrimination due to widespread prejudice against people exposed to radiation. He escaped by moving to Kyoto. He sought to forget his past for a long time, so he rarely spoke about the experience. He recently started to do something he had never tried before. He talks to young people about his experience. In January, Ikeda visited a local high school. Ikeda says he's still afraid and wonders how much radiation is left inside his body. He says he wondered what the white substance was that covered the entire deck. He says it was fallout from the explosion. He says even if you wash it off, radiation will never go away. Ikeda talked about his experiences for the first time at the gathering of local residents. He had rarely attended such meetings before. Ikeda says he didn't know anything about radiation 60 years ago, and that he's done a lot of research since then in an attempt to understand what was happening to him. He says he felt his body was gradually weakening. What happened to the No.5 Fukuryu-maru and its crew is often referred to as the third nuclear tragedy, following those in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 16 out of the 23 crew members have already died. Ikeda is determined to devote his life to share his experience with as many people as possible and to never allow a similar tragedy to happen again. Ikeda says all he can do is to stand up and talk. He says as long as he can talk, he will continue his campaign.